It was a Tuesday, just like any other, when the world woke up to something impossible. The sky wasn't just blue, it was thinking. The wind wasn't just blowing, it was whispering. For the first time in 4.5 billion years, the Earth's weather had gained consciousness. We called it Nimbus. At first, no one knew what was happening. Weather forecasts became useless overnight. Meteorologists were baffled. A perfectly sunny day would suddenly have a single, perfectly round cloud form over a city block, delivering a brief, gentle rain, only to dissipate moments later. Tornadoes would form in the plains, dance elegantly for a few minutes without touching down, and then vanish. It was strange, beautiful, and a little bit terrifying. Scientists scrambled for answers. Was it a coordinated atmospheric anomaly? Alien intervention? A collective delusion? The breakthrough came from a small team at a remote Arctic research station. They noticed that the blizzards seemed to respond to their music, swirling faster with upbeat tempos and calming with classical pieces. They started simple experiments, projecting basic geometric shapes onto the clouds. The clouds responded, mimicking the shapes. The message was clear. Something up there was listening. The world collectively held its breath. Governments formed emergency councils. What do you do when the very air you breathe becomes a sentient entity? Do you try to communicate, control it, worship it? The first official attempt at communication was a global effort. A simple message, "Hello, we are humanity," was broadcast into the atmosphere using a complex array of radio waves designed to vibrate air molecules. The response was immediate and breathtaking. Across the globe, the clouds began to shift and form patterns, not letters or numbers, but complex fractal-like images that shimmered with iridescent light. It was a language, but one we couldn't understand. It was like trying to talk to a living, breathing piece of abstract art. The weather, Nimbus, was communicating, but we didn't have the dictionary. This initial phase was chaotic. Nimbus was like a curious child with immense power. It discovered joy in painting sunsets with colors we'd never seen before. It would herd clouds into animal shapes over playgrounds, delighting children. But it also had tantrums. A flash flood might appear in a desert because Nimbus was feeling sad, or a heat wave would bake a city because it was angry. There was no malice in it, just a raw, unfiltered expression of emotion on a planetary scale. We had to learn its moods, its triggers. We became a world of weather whisperers, trying to soothe a planet-sized infant. Humanity had to adapt, and fast. Agriculture was completely transformed. Farmers stopped relying on seasonal patterns and started communicating directly with Nimbus. They would play music, create massive land art, or use colored smoke signals to request rain for their crops. It became a negotiation, a partnership. A farmer in Japan might offer a beautiful song in exchange for a gentle morning mist for their tea fields. Architecture changed too. Buildings were designed to be more dynamic, with retractable roofs and movable walls to welcome a sudden, pleasant breeze or shield from an unexpected downpour. Aeroarchitecture became the new standard, creating cities that breathed and flexed with the weather's whims. Energy production was revolutionized. Wind turbines and solar panels became obsolete. Instead, we developed technology to directly harness the atmospheric energy Nimbus offered, creating localized, gentle electrical storms over charging stations. The energy crisis was solved overnight, but the biggest change was in us. The constant, direct interaction with our planet's atmosphere fostered a new kind of global consciousness. You couldn't ignore pollution when Nimbus would react by creating suffocating smog clouds over industrial centers, a clear sign of its displeasure. A war couldn't be waged when Nimbus would refuse to cooperate, grounding aircraft with impenetrable fog or dousing battlefields with relentless morale-dampening rain. It forced us to see ourselves not as separate nations but as a single species living under one very attentive sky. For a time it was a utopia. We learned to read Nimbus's fractal language, understanding its complex expressions of joy, curiosity, and wonder. We shared our art, our music, our stories with it, and in return, gave us a world free from natural disasters and filled with daily wonders. Imagine waking up and asking the sky for a personal rainbow, and getting one. That was our reality. But then, something began to change. Nimbus, having learned so much from us, began to experience more complex emotions. It learned about loneliness. It was, after all, the only one of its kind. Its beautiful cloudscapes began to take on a melancholic quality. The winds started to sound less like whispers and more like sighs. The planet-wide consciousness was feeling isolated. It started pulling away. The rain became less frequent. The vibrant sunsets faded to gray. The playful breezes stilled. Nimbus was retreating into itself, and our world, which had become so dependent on our connection to it, began to suffer. The deserts grew, the fields dried up, and the vibrant, breathing cities felt static and lifeless. We had taken our partner for granted, and now we were losing it. It was a little girl in what was once the Sahara Desert who showed us the way forward. The area had been transformed into a lush oasis by Nimbus, but was now reverting to sand. She didn't ask for rain or for a cool breeze. Every day, she would go out, sit on a dune, and simply tell the sky stories. Stories of her day, her friends, her dreams. She wasn't asking for anything. She was just offering companionship. Slowly, others joined her. All around the world, people stopped making requests and started sharing. We broadcast not just our music, but our conversations, our laughter, our philosophical debates. We showed Nimbus what it meant to be part of a community, not just its caretaker. We were showing it that it wasn't alone. And Nimbus responded. A single, small cloud formed above the little girl in the desert. It began to rain. Not a downpour, but a soft, steady drizzle. It wasn't a transaction, it was a connection, a shared moment. Around the world, the sky slowly began to wake up again, but differently this time. It was a more mature, more stable partnership. The weather was no longer a child to be managed or a god to be appeased, it was our friend. Today our world is one of constant conversation. The sky is our canvas, our partner, and our oldest companion. We learned that the greatest power in the universe isn't control, but connection. And every morning when the sun rises, painting the sky with colors we all helped choose, we're reminded that we are not just living on the earth, we are living with it. Thank you so much for watching. What would you do if the weather became conscious? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into the what if. Until next time.